7 minutes, it's all it takes. 7 minutes to change your brain, your body, your life. I want to talk to you today about something so simple yet so powerful that it transformed not just my life but thousands of others worldwide. This isn't complicated science. This isn't some complex system. This is about what happens when you just 7 minutes each morning to program your brain for success instead of letting the world program it for you. Most people wake up, check their phone, think about all their problems, and instantly put their brain into a stress response before their feet even hit the floor. They've programmed their day for stress before it even begins. But what if there was another way? What if you could use those first precious moments when your brain is most receptive to set a completely different trajectory? I discovered this by accident. After my injury, when doctors told me I might never walk again, I was faced with a choice. Accept their reality or create my own. I chose to create my own. Every morning, before the analytical mind kicked in, before the world could tell me was and wasn't possible, I took those quiet moments to mentally rehearse my healing. 7 minutes of focused intention, 7 minutes of becoming something new. And you know what happened? My spine began to heal in ways medical science couldn't explain, but I could explain it. When you change your thoughts, you change your life. It's not just positive thinking, it's neurobiological programming. Let me tell you about Lisa. Lisa was 42, chronically depressed, overweight, stuck in a job she hated, and taking 5 medications just to get through the day. Like many of you, she was living in survival mode. Wake up, react to life, go to sleep, repeat. Her past was literally creating her future because she was thinking the same thoughts, performing the same actions, and creating the same emotions day after day. Then she heard about this 7-minute morning practice. She thought, what do I have to lose? She committed to it completely. No excuses, no days off. 7 minutes first thing every morning before checking emails, before family demands, before the world could hijack her attention. 6 months later, 3 medications gone, 27 pounds lighter, new job, and most importantly, joy had returned to her life. Not because her external world magically changed overnight, but because she changed her internal world first, and her external reality had no choice but to follow. This is where most people get it wrong. They want to change their lives, but they're waiting for something outside them to change first. So they're waiting for the perfect relationship, the perfect job, the perfect body. Then they'll be happy. But that's backward. Your external world is a reflection of your internal state. Let's talk science for a moment. So your brain doesn't know the difference between what's happening in your outer world and what's happening in your inner world. Your thoughts produce the same chemicals in your brain, whether you're experiencing something or just thinking about experiencing it. This is crucial to understand. Every morning when you wake up, your brain is in a theta brainwave state, that drowsy hypnotic state where you're more sedate. Most people waste this opportunity. They immediately start thinking about their problems, their to-do lists, their stresses, and boom, they've programmed their brain for more of the same. But what if instead you use those 7 minutes to mentally rehearse the person you want to be, to feel the feelings of already having what you want? To program new neurological networks. Your brain is made up of neurons, nerve cells that communicate with each other through connections called synapses. When you think a thought, neurons fire together in a specific sequence. When you think that same thought again, those same neurons fire together again, strengthening their connection. This is the neuroscience principle. Neurons that fire together wire together. Most people's brains are wired from years of living in stress, worry, and habitual patterns. Their neural networks are like superhighways of thought that automatically take them down the same mental roads every day. That's why change feels so hard. You're literally fighting against the physical structure of your brain. But here's the good news. Neuroplasticity means your brain can change. It can form new connections. It can rewire itself. And the most effective time to do this rewiring is first thing in the morning, in those drowsy 7 minutes before your analytical mind kicks in and tells you all the reasons why change is impossible. In those 7 minutes, you're literally changing your brain's physical structure. You're weakening the neural connections of your old self and strengthening the connections of your new self. Do this enough times and those new pathways become the brain's default route. That's when change becomes effortless. That's when you become someone new. Your brain works like this. Whatever you repeatedly think about and focus on, it assumes is important to you, and it will look for evidence of whatever you're focused on. Focus on problems, your brain will find more problems. Focus on possibilities, your brain will find more possibilities. This isn't spiritual mumbo-jumbo. This is how your attention and your reticular activating system work. Your brain has a filtering system that determines what information from your environment reaches your conscious awareness. There are millions of bits of sensory information coming to you every second, but you're only aware of a tiny fraction. What determines which information gets through? Whatever you've trained your brain to value and notice. That's why intention matters so much. What you put your attention on grows. What you take your attention from withers. 7 minutes of focused intention each morning literally tells your brain what to look for, what to notice, and what to create more of in your life. Now, let me explain exactly what this 7-minute morning ritual looks like. First, find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed. This isn't negotiable. Turn off your phone. This is your time. Second, sit upright with your spine straight but comfortable. This posture sends a signal to your brain that this is important. You're not just lounging or sleeping. Third, close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths. Breathe in through your nose for a count of 5. Hold for a count of 2 and exhale through your mouth for a count of 7. This activates your parasympathetic nervous system, taking you out of fight or flight mode. Fourth, place your awareness in your heart. Now metaphorically, literally feel the space in the center of your chest. This shifts your consciousness from your head to your heart, from thinking to feeling. Fifth, generate a genuine feeling of gratitude. Not just thinking about what you're grateful for, but actually feeling gratitude in your body. Gratitude is one of the highest emotional states you can be in. It opens your heart and synchronizes your brain and heart coherence. 6, clearly visualize what you want to create. See it as if it's happening now. Add details. Make it vivid. Most importantly, feel how you would feel if this were already your reality. Your brain doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's vividly imagined with emotion. 7th, surrender this vision to a higher power. Call it the quantum field, the universe, God, whatever works for you. Release the how and trust that when you change your energy, you change your life. It's at 7 minutes. But these 7 minutes are different from any other minutes in your day because they're setting the energetic template for everything that follows. Now, this sounds simple, and it is, but that doesn't mean it's easy. You'll face resistance. Your old self will fight to survive. The moment you decide to become someone new, everything that's inconsistent with that new self will come up to be acknowledged and released. You might sit down for your 7 minutes and suddenly remember 20 urgings you need to do. That's resistance. You might feel bored, restless, or skeptical. That's resistance. You might fall asleep or find your mind wandering to your to-do list. That's resistance. This resistance is normal, expected. It's your brain's homeostatic mechanism trying to keep you the same. Your brain likes efficiency, and your current patterns, even if they're making you miserable, are efficient because they're familiar. Your brain isn't designed for happiness. It's designed for survival. And to your brain, familiar equals safe. So how do you overcome this resistance? Awareness and persistence. Notice the resistance without judgment and gently bring your focus back to your practice. Do this enough times and the resistance weakens while your intention strengthens. Some people tell me, "But Joe, I don't have time for this." And I ask them, do you have time to keep living the same life, creating the same problems, experiencing the same limitations? 7 minutes is less than the 0.5% of your day. If you can't commit 0.5% of your day to changing the other 9.5%, then you don't want change badly enough. Others say, I tried it for a few days and nothing happened. Of course, nothing happened. Your current life is the result of thousands of days of thinking a certain way. Did you really expect that to change after 3 mornings? This is where consistency becomes crucial. The power of this practice isn't in doing it once. It's in doing it repeatedly until it becomes who you are, not just something you do. Think about learning any new skill. The first time you tried to ride a bike, you probably fell. The first time you tried to play an instrument, you probably sounded terrible. But with practice, what once required total concentration eventually became automatic. Your morning practice works the same way. At first, staying focused for 7 minutes might feel like an eternity. Your mind will wander. You'll get distracted. That's normal. But each time you notice your mind wandering and bring it back to your intention, you're building the neural circuitry of focus. You're literally strengthening your brain's ability to concentrate. After a few weeks, something interesting happens. The practice gets easier. You can hold your focus longer. The feelings become more accessible and more real. This is your brain physically changing, creating stronger neural connections related to your new way of being. After a few months, the transformation deepens. Now, when stress arises in your day, your brain automatically knows how to return to center because you've practiced it so many times. You find yourself naturally making choices aligned with your vision because those neural pathways have become dominant in your brain. After a year, your 7 Inu practice has literally changed your brain's default state. What once required effort now feels like your natural way of being. You haven't just created a new habit, you've become a new person. Let me tell you what changes you can expect to see when you commit to this practice. First, your stress response will change. Instead of automatically reacting to triggers, you'll find a space between stimulus and response where you can choose a different reaction. This alone will transform your relationships and work life. Second, your energy will increase. Most people don't realize how much energy they waste on stress, worry, and rumination. When you direct your energy intentionally instead of leaking it through stress responses, you'll have more vitality throughout your day. Third, your sleep will improve. Many sleep problems stem from an overactive mind that can't shut down at night. Your morning practice teaches your brain how to shift states intentionally, making it easier to transition into sleep at night. Fourth, your intuition will sharpen. When you quiet the analytical mind each morning, you create space to receive insights from your subconscious mind. Solutions to problems will appear seemingly out of nowhere. Creative ideas will flow more easily. You'll make better decisions because you're accessing more of your brain's resources. Fifth, your health will improve. Chronic stress is linked to almost every major disease. By starting each day in a coherent state instead of a stressed state, you're literally changing your gene expression. Studies show that practices like this can lower inflammation, improve immune function, and even lengthen telomeres, the protective caps on your DNA that influence how you age. 6, your perception will shift. Remember that filtering system in your brain I mentioned. When you consistently practice gratitude and positive expectation, your brain starts filtering for the good in your life. You'll notice opportunities you were blind to before. You'll see solutions where you once saw only problems. 7th, your relationships will transform. Energy is contagious. When you change your emotional state, the people around you can feel it. They respond differently to you because you're projecting different energy. Without saying a word, you'll influence the emotional climate of your home and workplace. Don't just take my word for this. Let me share some real examples from people who've committed to this practice. There's Michael, a corporate executive who had been taking blood pressure medication for 12 years. After 6 months of this morning practice, his doctor was baffled by his improved readings and reduced his medication. After 9 months, he came off it completely. There's Sarah, who had suffered from chronic anxiety since childhood. She tried therapy, medication, exercise. Everything helped a little, but nothing shifted the underlying pattern. After committing to this morning practice for just 90 days, she experienced days without anxiety for the first time in her adult life. After a year, anxiety was the exception rather than her default state. There's Robert, who had been stuck in the same career position for 8 years despite trying everything advanced. Within 4 months of starting this practice, he was promoted twice. Not that practice magically gave him new skills, but because it changed how he showed up at work. More confident, more creative, more solution-oriented, whose relationship with her teenage son had deteriorated to the point where they barely spoke. She couldn't change him directly, so she changed herself through this practice. Within weeks, their relationship began to thaw. Not because she was doing anything differently, but because she was being someone different. These aren't anomalies. These are the predictable results of changing your mental and emotional state consistently over time. When you change your energy, you change your life. It's cause and effect. Let's talk about the quantum physics perspective for a moment. We now know that everything in the universe is energy vibrating at different frequencies. Your thoughts and emotions are energy too. They generate an electromagnetic field that extends beyond your physical body. Quantum physics has demonstrated that the observer affects the observed. Your consciousness influences the behavior of energy at the subatomic level. This means that where you place your attention literally affects the physical world around you. Not just metaphorically, but actually. When you sit in those 7 minutes each morning feeling the emotions of your desired future as if it's already happened, you're not just engaging in a psychological exercise. You're sending out a specific electromagnetic signature into the quantum. You're communicating with the field in its own language, the language of energy and feeling. This is why feeling is so important in your morning practice. It's not enough to visualize what you want. You must feel it. Emotion is energy in motion. It's the energy that gives your thoughts creative power. When you combine clear intention, thought with elevated emotion, feeling, you're doing exactly what quantum physicists talk about when they describe how consciousness affects reality. You're participating in the creation of your life instead of just responding to whatever happens to you. Most people live their entire lives as though they're passengers rather than drivers. They react to circumstances, respond to other people's energy, and drift with the currents of culture and society. They don't realize they have the power to create differently. Your 7 and 8 morning practice is you taking the driver's seat in your life. It's you declaring to the universe, this is who I am becoming. This is what I am creating. And this is the energy I'm broadcasting today. Let me show you exactly how to implement this practice in your life. Not just the basic steps, but the deeper nuances that make all the difference between a ritual that transforms and one that becomes just another abandoned habit. First, start by making a firm decision the night before. This isn't just about setting an alarm. This is about having a conversation with yourself before sleep. Look yourself in the mirror and say, tomorrow morning, I choose to create my day rather than let my day create me. This declaration matters. Your subconscious mind is listening. While you sleep, your brain processes this intention, preparing neural pathways to support your morning practice. The greatest athletes visualize their performance before the actual event. You're doing the same thing, mentally rehearsing your morning success before it happens. Many of my students keep a small note by their bedside that simply says, 7 minutes to change everything. It's the last thing they see before sleep and the first thing they see upon waking. This visual anchor reinforces your nighttime commitment during that vulnerable moment when you first open your eyes and the old program wants to take over. Second, set your alarm 15 minutes earlier than your normal wake-up time. I know I said the practice takes 7 minutes, but you need time to transition from sleep to full presence. Those few minutes of gentle transition make all the difference. Don't jump straight from sleep into your practice. Your brain needs a moment to shift states. Some of my students use alarms that simulate sunrise with light that slowly brightens the room, signaling to your brain that it's time to wake naturally. Third, create a dedicated sacred space for your practice. This doesn't require an elaborate meditation room. Simplicity is often better. Just a comfortable chair or cushion in a quiet corner works perfectly. What matters is that this space is reserved for your morning practice and nothing else. Your brain forms associations with physical environments. When you consistently do your practice in the same location, your brain begins to associate that spot with focus, intention, and elevated emotion. Eventually, just sitting in that space automatically triggers the brain state you want. Keep this space clean and free from distractions. No bills to pay, no to-do lists, no reminders of daily responsibilities. Some people like to add meaningful objects, perhaps a candle, a special stone, or a photo that evokes positive emotion. These aren't necessary, but if they help you connect with elevated feelings, include them. Fourth, keep a practice journal beside your sacred space. After your 7 minutes, take 60 seconds to record your experience. Note any insights, emotions, or resistance you encountered. Be specific about how your body felt, what emotions arose, and any mental images that appeared. This journaling step isn't optional. It's a crucial part of neurological change. The act of writing physically reinforces the new neural patterns you're creating. It moves your experience from the realm of the intangible into the physical world. Over time, this journal becomes a record of your transformation, showing patterns you wouldn't otherwise notice. Some days will feel profound and others will feel mundane. Record them all without judgment. The days that feel ordinary are often when the deepest work is happening beneath your conscious awareness. Fifth, and this is absolutely non-negotiable, do not check your phone, computer, television, or any other device until after your practice is complete.